scared.
Hello guys! In this video I wanted to try something different and try to do short movie reviews for just one movie, instead of compiling a bunch of really short, brief summaries. If you would like to see more reviews like this, or if you'd like me to stick to the normal content, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Today I'm covering the Shudder original by the name of Daddy's Head, which came out in the beginning of last October. I hadn't heard anything about this movie and decided to go into it completely blind. I will try and not give away any spoilers of the movie, but towards the end of the review I will get into more detail and talk about the ending of the movie. But I will give a heads up for the people that want to watch this movie themselves. The movie starts off in a hospital where we see our main character, Isaac, visiting his dad for the last time after he got in a horrible car accident, leaving his body unrecognizable. It isn't much of a goodbye as his father's face is completely covered in bandages and is in what seems to be a coma. Laura, who is the father's girlfriend, takes Isaac home, where they get the news that his father didn't survive his injuries. Isaac and Laura don't talk to each other much, as they're both processing their loss. This causes for a lot of silent scenes in the beginning of the movie, which is enhanced by the fact they're in the middle of nowhere surrounded by miles of forest. One morning, they wake up to a thick mist surrounding their house. Both going outside, they soon see its smoke, which is coming from deep down the forest, and is approaching their house with great speed. This scene is very well executed as we see a big ball of black smoke covering the trees, with the sound of hundreds of birds screeching combined with some really eerie music. You immediately get the feeling that something isn't right. Laura contacts the fire department, but as they search through the whole area, they can't find any signs of anything having caught fire whatsoever. We get some more scenes of Isaac and Laura mourning over their loss, which there are quite a lot of. Then the same night we see Laura passed out on the floor with a bottle of wine next to her and the stereo blasting at full volume. Isaac tries to wake her up, but as he does they both see this weird silhouette under the table, which takes off with great speed as soon as they move. I don't know how they still haven't decided to leave the house, but they decide to keep around for now. We skip to the next night as we hear something running around the house. Isaac is laying in his bed, and this is the first time after half an hour in the movie that we actually have some suspense built. We see this vague outline of what seems to be a person in the corner of his room. The thing starts hissing and quietly whispering Isaac's name. Isaac slowly gets up to have a look what's calling his name, as the creature turns around and shows us a glimpse of what we're dealing with. We see this all-black humanoid creature with what seems to be the face of Isaac's dad, who passed away a couple of days ago. Convinced by what he saw, Isaac goes to Laura to tell her that his dad is still alive, which of course is not possible. We see Isaac going outside and talking to what seems to be someone in the bushes. Again, we see a glimpse of what seems to be his dad's face. Isaac gets more aggressive as no one believes him, and he is determined to find his not-so-dead father. He goes for a walk in the forest with Laura where they find this strange structure built out of sticks, which looks a lot like a drawing his dad made before he died. This convinces Isaac even more that his dad must be alive, but of course we still know that's not possible. Laura starts to feel less and less safe around Isaac and decides to ask an old friend of the father to come over and stay for a while. And so we meet Robert. Laura decides to put up a camera in Isaac's room to see what's actually going on, as she's also looking for an explanation for all the weird stuff that's happening. This causes for the most suspenseful scene of the whole movie in my opinion. We see the screws of the vent in Isaac's room unscrew one by one. We are expecting to see the creature jump out, but what we get is the head of their dead dog popping out, looking alive and well. This lures Isaac closer to the vent, and we see his dad's face at the end of it. The creature tries to lure Isaac to him, convincing he is his real dad. In the other room, Laura is looking at the camera and has a glimpse of the face as well. Laura starts completely freaking out and decides to leave everything behind, which leaves Isaac with Robert. One evening, Isaac asks Robert to join him on a walk in the forest, which he agrees to. They walk to the stick structure where Robert gets attacked by the creature, putting him in the hospital with severe injuries. This causes Laura to move back into the house to stay with Isaac for now. We switch to nighttime and get a scene that actually made me very uncomfortable, not just once, but twice. We see Isaac laying in bed while we see something moving behind him. Laura hears noise from his room, so goes and checks it out. What we see is the face of the dead father put on a completely dark, animal-like body with a grin that will chill you to the bone. As the creature moves away, its face starts to morph into something unrecognizable, which actually kind of scared me if I'm being honest. The two have to stick together and try to survive the night while this cryptid monster is crawling through their house. Will they survive? Let's get into the ending right now. Laura and Isaac hide in the living room while the creature is slowly making its way towards them. Something in Laura snaps as she grabs a knife and starts slashing away at the monster, causing it to start crying out in an eerie high pitch. The creature quickly heads out and runs outside to the forest. We then skip to a couple of years later where we see Isaac as a teenager making his way through the forest near the house. We see the stick structure all collapse now and Isaac heads inside. He finds a skeleton of what seems to be a human. But we see that the skull doesn't have any facial features, confirming these are the remains of the creature that terrorized him those years ago. He also finds a picture of him and his dad next to the remains, which is probably the explanation why the creature could mimic his father's head. We get one more scene where we see Isaac entering a different house and referring to someone as Mom, which we quickly see is Laura, who after all decided to take custody of Isaac. So did I enjoy this movie? I mean, despite not much happening throughout the movie and the story being pretty bland, it did have a very creative monster in it, which was refreshing to see. I think it is a shame that we also didn't get much backstory or explanation. Everything was left for the viewer to figure out, which isn't a bad thing necessarily, but it did cause the story to be a bit messy and boring at points. I'm still not sure if it was supposed to be a cryptid folk horror movie, or that the creature was supposed to be some kind of alien. On IMDb, it's listed as folk horror, but I felt like it was more to the alien side, as we were shown the mysterious smoke, which may have indicated the landing of the creature and also the fact that it wanted to lure Isaac into its lair without doing him any harm. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I do think it's a sweet touch that after all the shit the two went through, Laura still wanted to take care of Isaac as his new mother. And that's all I have to say about this year's Daddy's Head. Let me know if you enjoyed this kind of new content in the comments below, and I hope to see you in the next video.